No Olympic Games, no matter how much we adore them, are perfect. While every event presents the prospect for new triumphs, it also presents the risk of unexpected failures that often turn into life-changing injuries, some even passing away from their injuries. But what are some of the most painful fails ever? Stay tuned to find out some of the most painful, scary, and terrifying fails in gymnastics. ANASTASIA NASTIA LIUKIN. In 2008, Russian-American gymnast ANASTASIA NASTIA LIUKIN won gold for her unrivaled skill and athleticism. Everyone anticipated her to walk into the Olympic qualifying trials and dominate the field. Nastia was unable to compete in the London 2012 Olympics. Was this the case? As a result of this dreadful misstep on the bars, until a mishap on the high bar, Nastia's routine was going great. She let go of the bar and failed to reclaim it when she went to grab it again. She landed face first on the mat and gracefully kicked up her back leg to signal to her coach and supporters that she was fine and didn't require assistance despite the fall. She climbed back up and continued the dance, fully aware that her fall would rule her out of the 2012 Olympics, and received a standing ovation from the audience. "They still love and support me for who I am as a person," Nastia revealed with a smile. It was quite touching. ADRIENNE NYESTE of Hungary was hoping to fly to Sydney to showcase her country and their outstanding athleticism in the 2000 Olympic preliminary trials. She was in the middle of a wonderful and tough bar routine and had almost completed it. Adrienne spun around the bar once, then twice as she picked up speed for her final move and dismount, but she lost her grip and was propelled from the bars by the speed and force of her revolutions. She appeared to launch herself away from the bars and down the mat in a violent twist that made us all wince. The crowd echoed her misery with a groan. After the fall, she fell and did not move for at least 30 seconds, leading coaches and fans to fear she was unconscious. In reality, the exceptional athlete was just with excruciating pain and was disappointed in herself. Samantha CERIO. After suffering devastating injuries during her performance at an NCAA regional championship, a U.S. collegiate gymnast was forced to retire from the sport. After a tumbling move went horribly wrong, Auburn University senior Samantha CERIO shattered both her legs and dislocated both knees midway through her floor performance. CERIO was stretchered out of the court to a standing ovation from the 5,537 spectators in attendance at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in Louisiana. The event's commentator gave an unimpressive first impression of the situation. "I believe she is harmed. He's clearly in pain," he stated. Auburn head coach Jeff Graba, who has been in the sport since the 1980s, says he's never seen such a significant injuries in his career. Graba told NOLA.com, "It was pretty tough to witness. She's a trooper," says the narrator. "Go help the girls," she stated as her final words. The females banded together to support her. "This is what they're doing right now for her. Nothing ever goes as planned," an engineering student wrote on her Instagram account, confirming that she will not compete again. JACOBY Miles. The world was stunned when Simone Biles announced her withdrawal from the Olympic women's gymnastics team competition. JACOBY Miles was relieved as she bailed on her vault, stopping earlier than she intended and barely landing safely. She recognized Biles' expression. Miles, 23, was familiar with the expression because she had experienced it herself. She'd been on the twisties before. She had bailed on a skill as well, stopping earlier than she intended. However, she did not land safely. Miles collided with her and landed on her neck. From the chest down, she's paralyzed. Miles was a top-level gymnast at the age of 15 when she began to notice that she struggled to keep track of where she was on double backflips. She told herself, "You'll be okay." She had done a double backflip dismount on the uneven bars probably hundreds of times before, she says, so she practiced it again on November 16, 2012. But as she let go of the bar, she realized she had no idea where she was. Miles was unable to finish the turn. She crashed on her neck and dislocated her C4 vertebrae, rendering her quadriplegic almost immediately. She's regained some movement in her arms since then, and she graduated from Seattle Pacific University last year, but she expects to spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. Samir Ait Saeed's. Consider this the worst-case scenario for any Olympian. Samir Ait Saeed's Olympic career came to an end in 2016 when he suffered a catastrophic injury to his left leg while vaulting during team preliminaries. As he attempted to land, Saeed's leg bowed unnaturally, and the sound of injury reverberating around the arena. While medical personnel attended to him, Saeed writhed on the ground in anguish. A standing ovation greeted his leaving on a stretcher. Melanie Coleman. Next up on our list is Melanie Coleman. Her mourning family revealed back in 2019 that the All-American collegiate gymnast died after slipping off the uneven bars during practice and suffering a horrific spinal injury. Melanie Coleman, a 20-year-old Southern Connecticut State University student-athlete, was seriously injured in a tragic freak accident, according to family friends. She'd been practicing when she fell off the apparatus. Unfortunately, the athlete died from her injuries at Yale New Haven Hospital in Connecticut. Melanie and her 4 siblings, including 2 gymnast sisters, were described as inseparable by Melanie's sad mother. Melanie Coleman, a nursing student at New Haven College, fell while practicing on the uneven bars at the New Era Gymnastics facility in Hamden. Melanie also volunteered at the facility where she and her colleagues practice once a week. Although this is obviously a very freak accident, it's still very scary to see just how dangerous a seemingly innocent sport can be. Julissa Gomez. Julissa Deanne Gomez was an American gymnast who rose quickly through the ranks of competitive gymnastics in the mid-1980s before being paralyzed in a vaulting accident in 1988. Gomez traveled to Tokyo, Japan with her coach in May 1988, many months before the Olympics, to compete in the World Sports Fair. Gomez qualified for the vault finals during the all-around competition. Observers, including her old coach, Bella Caroli, past and present colleagues, and even her current coach, Al Fong, had witnessed her struggle with the apparatus in the months leading up to the competition. Gomez's technique on the extremely difficult Yurchenko vault was characterized as weak at best, and she was unable to consistently perform the vault during workouts, occasionally missing her feet on the springboard. Chell Stack, a Caroli's teammate, later remarked, "You could tell she wasn't doing it in a secure vault. Someone should have stopped her along the way." Julissa's trainers, on the other hand, insisted that she keep training and competing in the Yurchenko vault in order to get high scores. Gomez continued to practice the Yurchenko during warm-ups for the final on May 5, 1988. Her foot fell off the springboard as she sped towards the vault on one of her practice runs, and she plunged headfirst into the vaulting horse at high speed. Her entire body was paralyzed from the neck down as a result of the hit. She suffered significant brain damage, was put into a coma after an accident in a Japanese hospital in which she became unplugged from her ventilator. Gomez was cared after by her family for 3 years before succumbing to an infection and dying in Houston in August 1991. Gomez's tragedy was one of the worst in artistic gymnastics history, and it prompted changes in the discipline. The International Gymnastics Federation voted in 1989 to improve vaulting safety by permitting U-shaped springboard mats to be used during competition. These mats are typically used in practice to give all gymnasts a broader margin of error in brief flight. The safety mat is now required, according to the 2006 Code of Points. Performing a Yurchenko-style vault without it results in an automatic score of 0. To provide gymnasts with more safety, the traditional horse was phased out in 2001 and replaced by a larger, more sturdy vaulting table. KERRI Strug's first Olympic experience was in 1992 at Barcelona. She was the youngest Olympian on the USA team at 14 years old, having qualified just a month before the Games. Strug was a member of the Magnificent Seven, a great lineup that qualified for the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. Despite the fact that this was a home Olympics and the US gymnasts were in fine form, they had never won the team competition. Despite the fact that history was against them, Team USA was able to establish a dominating lead as the competition neared its conclusion on July 23, 1996. Perhaps it was the pressure, or perhaps it was nervousness, but the USA squad had yet to land clearly, despite the fact that 4 competitors had already jumped. Things proceeded from bad to worse when 14-year-old Dominique Moutionnel stepped up. The little gymnast failed both of her vault attempts, putting all of the emphasis on Strug. Her first leap ended in catastrophe. Her ankle gave way beneath her as she landed awkwardly on her feet. Strug's face was etched with pain. Spectators were stunned, and it appeared as if her competition had ended for obvious reasons. Regardless of being in excruciating pain, Strug staggered up for the gold medal clinching leap, clearly in pain. All eyes were on the landing as she rocketed through the air. She triumphantly raised her arms while winced in pain. Strug was the one who had done it. She landed perfectly and earned team gold for the United States for the first time ever. And there you have it, everything you need to know about some of the most painful and scary gymnastics fails ever. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below, which one surprised you the most. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.